Hello, everybody. This is the Starving Martian, and welcome back to Martian Monday. You know, some of the best pairings in life are those that you wouldn't necessarily think to put together. For example, who would have thought that macaroni and cheese would actually be, a delicious coupling? And indeed it is. People eat it every day of the week. So another such pair of what we're looking at right now is Mars attacks Popeye. And who would have thought of putting Martians and Popeye in the same story together? Well, obviously the good folks at IDW. Here we have Mars attacks Popeye, the one-shot special published in January of 2013. And it doesn't come up often on the show, but I am a huge fan of classic cartoons and classic cartoon characters, and so this is one of my favorites of their one-shots. They did a whole month in January of crossover comics, and so we're taking a look today at this one here. I like the cover. It's designed to look like a old trading card that's seen better days. All the covers I think were designed like that. The back of the comic gives you what would be the back of the trading card. And we're not going to read it because, well, it kind of spoils most of the story, really. But, so let's open this up and take a look. Now, right off the bat, you have to love the splash page here. If you've ever read Thimble Theater, that's the actual comic book that Popeye debuted in. Popeye didn't start in his own comic. There was a comic strip in the newspapers called Thimble Theater, and it was about Olive Oyl and her family. And Popeye actually was a guest star in one of their adventures and became popular and started reoccurring and eventually took over the whole darn strip. And so we see here several of the characters that will be in the comic that were staples of the Thimble Theater. And there's the Martians right there. On the other side of the page here, you get a glimpse at the two variant covers. Each issue had two variant covers showcasing what Mars might have attacked. These are other properties owned by IDW. The covers exist, the variant covers exist, the comics do not. So don't think you can go on Amazon or eBay and buy Mars Attacks Opus. You'll get the cover, but the actual interior will be Mars Attacks Popeye. So let's see what the story has for us here. So we see Olive Oyl nervous that Popeye is not back yet because there's a thunderstorm out there. Popeye survived a lot worse than thunderstorms. I don't know what she's so worried about, but her father has her turn the radio on as he's dozing off, which announces that that flaming objects, which are most likely meteors, have fallen. But you can see in the window that's no meteor. In fact, it's a UFO, several of them in fact, which discharge Martians. And I think the Martians look great in this. I think they blend well with Popeye's world. One thing you'll notice when reading this is that it's colored the way that comic books used to be colored, like that the colored dots that make up the the different colors in the thing instead of the full color splash that they have nowadays, which I like. So the Martians land, but before they could get to any serious business, there's a evil laughter, and we're introduced to the Sea Hag. Yeah, in the comics, Bluto is not Popeye's primary enemy. The Sea Hag here is Popeye's Joker, really. And so she hypnotizes the Martians to do her evil bidding. And her evil bidding is like destroying like parts of the town, which the Martians would have done anyway. So we see Popeye coming home from whatever his adventure was, and the town's on fire. And he notes that he's got enemies. Popeye speak is hard to read all the time. Fortunately, they find Eugene the Jeep, a magical fourth-dimensional creature, who informs them that all their friends and relatives escaped the devastation. And they're hiding in a storm cellar. Wimpy's eating the last of the food, as he would. And we get down to this professor here who claims that he's been able to identify the source of the problem as Martians. This, of course, is Professor What's-a-Nozzle. And Popeye has no idea what a Martian is. So he explains in this big block of text, which you can pause and read if you want. And Popeye still doesn't know what a Martian is. He's just a simple sailor. He knows the winds and the seas. And so the professor decides if he had a Martian gun, he could perhaps develop some sort of protection against them. And so they send Eugene the Jeep, who steals a Martian gun and gets away clean with it, as magical Jeeps do. So as he goes off to make his invention, Popeye decides to handle the problem the only way he knows how, with his fists. And he's going to raise himself an army, which apparently only consists of his father, because he's the only one he asks. So there's Poop Deck Pappy, Popeye's father. And he says no, he has no interest in helping out the situation, which leaves Popeye disgustigated with him. So he next bumps into Alice the Goon, another long-standing comic book or comic strip character. She also appeared in some, at least one, of the cartoons back in the 30s. Alice the Goon agrees to help out. She's got her own goon army. Oh, what Popeye says arf arf there. Apparently that's how they laugh. I don't fully get it. Meanwhile, the professor succeeded in making a device that will nullify the effects of the Martian ray gun, which is always useful. But it needs a test subject, and poor Castor Oil here, that's Olive Oil's brother, gets volunteered by Wimpy. And so he gets zapped. What are we going to do? We're going to have burning flesh here. Is this the end of Castor Oil? No, but it is the end of his good suit. So yes, the nullifier weakens the Martian ray to the point where it only destroys your clothing. Unfortunately, everybody in this comic wears boxers and not briefs. I'm very glad for that, as we'll see. So Popeye and his goon army get ready to face off against the Sea Hag and her Martian army, and there they are. Alright, so the two armies square off against each other. She gives the order to fire, and all that these guys lose is their clothing. And Popeye even has a spinach print boxer shorts. That's a nice touch, I guess. She can't believe it. And Popeye operates with his fists, as he does. The goons join in, as they do. And it looks like Earth is going to be triumphant, but then Plan B. And Plan B, of course, is if you can't zap them, crush them, and we get giant robots. Here it says, and so, wait for it, Mars attacks. And I thought Mars attacked way back when they blew up the city, but whatever. Giant robots, by the way. Very nicely done. Here's card 52 from the original trading card series. And you can see that they got the look of the robot down really, really well. Here's another robot. I got him upside down. Here's another robot with the Martian inside. And you can see that one right there. So they paid attention to not only the classic Popeye, but the classic Mars attacks as well, and as a fan of both, I appreciate. So the goons, they run away, and the robots crowd around Popeye, hammer him into the ground, and the witch comes up, and Popeye's surrounded, and all hope is lost. Until who should arrive but Poop Deck Pappy. Yeah, he didn't want to help out, but, you know, he always pulls through in the end. Now, normally I would not advocate smacking a woman, but in this case we will make an exception. She had that coming. So he yanks his son out of the dirt, never once asks why he's in his underwear, and out comes the spinach. So he grabs one robot, Popeye grabs the other, and you get this excellent double-page spread here. Kerrang! Which, of course, is the alien brain from Ninja Turtles, but whatever. Yeah, I just absolutely love this. This one's poster worthy right here. And then the two of them just go to town on the Martians, and they move so fast that they, go into hyperspeed or something. They start both looking like Flash. They destroy the leftover robots. Martians are tossed to and fro, and they get up kind of dazed. Their hypnotic spell is broken because getting hammered around will do that. And they misinterpret what they saw. They honestly think that these two Earthlings just suddenly turned into 20. And they're thinking, if this is what Earthlings are like, maybe this isn't the best time to attack. Seahag tries to talk them into hanging around, but they decide they've had enough of being controlled by her, and, well, they would have fried her if not for the invention that's still active, leaving her in her undies as well, her bloomers. And the Martians retreat to attack another day, leaving our heroes to laugh at the half-naked sea witch as the saucers fly off into the distance. And that was Mars Attacks Popeye. Yeah, this is an excellent comic. I very much enjoy it. And, we didn't go over much of the dialogue. It's a fun read. I would recommend picking up your own copy. They're not that expensive. You can either get them individually, or if you prefer, there's a trade paperback, Mars Attacks IDW, that collects all of the crossover stories. Alright, so hope you guys enjoyed this look at Mars Attacks Popeye. Let me know in the comment section what you would cross Mars Attacks over with. What would you cross Popeye over with? And did you think that this pairing worked well, or did it seem forced to you? So this has been the Starving Martian. We'll catch up with you guys later. Until then, keep watching the skies.